The rain couldn't wash away what Sloane saw in that moment. A man who wanted nothing from her. No deals, no networking, no status, just honesty. And that terrified her more than any failed merger ever could. But that moment hadn't arrived yet. 3 weeks earlier, Sloane Whitfield stood at the floor-to-ceiling windows of her corner office in downtown Atlanta, watching the city pulse beneath her. 29 years old, CEO of Whitfield Industries, and worth more than most people could count. Her reflection stared back, perfectly tailored Armani blazer, blonde hair pinned without a strand out of place, expression carved from years of boardroom battles. "Your 11 o'clock is here," Greta Nolan's voice crackled through the intercom. "Send them in." The meeting blurred like all the others. Contracts, projections, handshakes that meant nothing beyond dollar signs. By noon, Sloane had closed a 7-figure deal without breaking a sweat. Her phone buzzed. "Mother, dinner tonight at the club. Preston will be there." Sloane's jaw tightened. "I told you. We're done. Nonsense. Caldwell money and Whitfield influence? That's not something you throw away over feelings, Sloane. I have a meeting." She hung up before Victoria could respond. Greta appeared at the door, tablet in hand. "The community outreach photos. The ones for the annual report. Legal wants them by Friday." Sloane barely glanced up. "Schedule whatever's fastest. There's a daycare in Kirkwood, diverse, photogenic, good optics." "Fine, book it." Sloane didn't think twice. Places like that existed in her world only as background, props for press releases, tax write-offs dressed up as compassion. The children there, the parents struggling to make pickup times between double shifts. They weren't real to her. Not yet. She grabbed her bag and headed for the elevator, heels clicking against marble. In the lobby, a janitor mopped near the entrance. He stepped aside as she passed, eyes down. Sloane didn't notice. She never did. Outside, her driver waited with the Mercedes door open. She slid in, already scrolling emails, already forgetting every face she'd passed. The city moved around her, people catching buses, parents holding children's hands, workers grabbing lunch from food trucks. A whole world she'd been trained to see as beneath her. But somewhere across town, in a small apartment above a barber shop, a man named Kendrick Lawson was reading his son a bedtime story, working through exhaustion, building a life with nothing but his own 2 hands. Their worlds were about to collide, and Sloane Whitfield had no idea that everything she believed about success, status, and worth was about to shatter. "Hello, the Shade of Love family. So happy you're here. Before we jump into the next part of the story, tell us, where are you watching from? Drop your country and state in the comments. Also, how's the story been so far? We love reading your thoughts. Yes, every single comment. And it really keeps us motivated. Let's aim for 50 comments on this video. Think we can hit it? Your support means the world, so don't forget to comment, share, and keep the energy flowing. The Whitfield estate sat behind iron gates in Buckhead, a monument to generational wealth. Sloane pulled up the circular driveway, already regretting the visit. Inside, Victoria Whitfield waited in the sitting room, martini in hand, pearls resting against her collarbone like armor. "You look tired," Victoria said instead of hello. "Long day. Sit. We need to discuss Preston." Sloane remained standing. "There's nothing to discuss. He comes from the right family. He understands our world." Victoria's eyes narrowed. "What exactly are you looking for that he doesn't provide?" Something real, Sloane thought. But she'd learned long ago that word had no meaning in this house. "I'm not marrying someone for optics, Mother." Victoria laughed, a cold, practiced sound. "Oh, darling, everything is optics. The sooner you accept that, the easier life becomes." Sloane's phone buzzed. Work. Relief. "I have to take this." She escaped to the hallway, but didn't answer the call. Instead, she stared at a family portrait on the wall, herself at 8, flanked by parents who smiled without warmth. Growing up, Whitfield meant learning rules. Don't trust easily. Protect the name. People want what you have. Never forget that. The help isn't your friend. Stay with your own kind. That last one was never spoken directly, but it was taught in 1,000 small ways. The way Victoria clutched her purse in certain neighborhoods. The comments at country club dinners about those people and different values. The casual cruelty dressed up as concern. Sloane had absorbed it all without questioning. It was simply how things were. Back in the sitting room, Victoria was refilling her glass. "The daycare visit tomorrow?" Sloane said, testing. "For the company photos." Just make sure you sanitize after. Those places." Victoria waved her hand dismissively. "You know." Sloane nodded. She did know. That was the problem. That night, alone in her penthouse, she stood at another window, another view, another glass of wine she didn't really taste. Below, Atlanta sparkled. A city of contrasts she'd been trained to see only from above. Her phone showed a text from Preston. "Dinner Friday? I'll make reservations at Marcel's." She didn't respond. Instead, she pulled up the daycare's website. Bright colors, smiling children, a mission statement about community and accessibility. The director's name was Tamika Vance. Single mother. Founded the center after struggling to find affordable childcare herself. Sloane scrolled past quickly. Tomorrow was just a photo op. 30 minutes. Manufactured smiles, good PR. Nothing more. She finished her wine and went to bed in a penthouse that cost more than most people earned in a decade. And she'd never felt more empty. Kirkwood Sunshine Daycare occupied a converted Victorian home painted cheerful yellow. Sloane's Mercedes looked obscene parked outside. Greta had the photographer ready. 15 minutes for setup, then we'll get you with the kids." Sloane adjusted her blazer. "Let's make this quick." Inside, chaos reigned. The beautiful kind. Children's laughter, finger paint masterpieces covering walls, tiny chairs arranged around tiny tables. It smelled like apple juice and Play-Doh. Tamika Vance approached, hand extended. "Ms. Whitfield, thank you for choosing us." Sloane's handshake was brief. "Your facility photographs well." If Tamika noticed the coldness, she didn't show it. "The children are excited. We don't get many visitors." During setup, Sloane watched the organized chaos. A little girl showed her a crayon drawing. Sloane smiled tightly, unsure what to say. Then she noticed him. He came through the back door. Tall, dark skin, wearing paint-splattered work clothes. A little boy, maybe 5, ran into his arms. "Daddy!" The man's entire face transformed. He lifted the boy, spinning him once, laughing with an ease Sloane couldn't remember ever feeling. "How was your day, Jalen?" "We painted. I made you a dragon." "A dragon? Man, I gotta see this masterpiece." Tamika appeared beside Sloane. "That's Kendrick Lawson. His son Jalen's been with us since he was 2. Kendrick works construction, but he never misses pickup. Not once in 3 years." Sloane watched Kendrick examine the painting with genuine wonder, asking questions, praising details. Something uncomfortable shifted in her chest. The photographer called for her. "Ms. Whitfield, we're ready." For the next 20 minutes, Sloane posed with children she didn't know, smiled for cameras, played the part of the benevolent benefactor. The whole time, she was aware of Kendrick in the corner, packing Jalen's bag, completely uninterested in the spectacle. As she was leaving, their paths crossed at the door. "Excuse me," Kendrick said, holding the door for her, Jalen on his hip. Sloane looked at him. Really looked. His clothes were worn, but clean. His hands calloused. His eyes met hers without deference, without the hunger she was used to seeing. "Thank you," she said, the words feeling strange. He nodded once and walked past her towards the bus stop. Greta appeared with her phone. "Great shots. Marketing will have drafts by Monday." Sloane watched Kendrick and Jalen waiting for the bus. The little boy was showing his father something on his fingers. Counting, maybe. Kendrick listened like it was the most important conversation in the world. "Ms. Whitfield?" "What? Yes, fine. Let's go." In the car, she couldn't stop thinking about that look in Kendrick's eyes. The way he'd held the door, polite but unbothered. Like her name, her money, her status meant absolutely nothing. It shouldn't have bothered her. It did. 1 week later, Sloane found herself back in Kirkwood. She told herself it was to review additional footage, that the marketing team needed more material, that it had nothing to do with a man who hadn't looked at her twice. The daycare was closing when she arrived. Tamika was locking up. "Ms. Whitfield, is everything all right?" Sloane hadn't planned this far. I wanted to discuss ongoing partnership opportunities. Of course, but we're closed now. Kendrick's the last one. His shift ran late. Through the window, Sloane saw Kendrick inside with Jalen, helping the boy into his jacket. I can wait. Tamika gave her an odd look but nodded. When Kendrick emerged, Jalen half asleep in his arms, he stopped short at seeing Sloane. You again, he said. Not rude, just observational. I was in the area. His expression said he didn't believe her. In Kirkwood, at 7 p.m. Is that a problem? It's your time to waste. He shifted Jalen's weight. Have a good night. He started walking toward the bus stop. Wait. The word escaped before she could stop it. Kendrick turned. I could give you a ride. It's getting dark. For a long moment, he just looked at her. Why? Excuse me? Why would you offer me a ride? You don't know me. I don't know you. People like you don't... He stopped himself. Don't what? Don't do things without wanting something. The words hit harder than they should have. Maybe I'm just being polite. Maybe. He didn't sound convinced. But I've got 2 working legs and a bus pass. We're good. He turned and walked away. Sloane stood frozen. No one talked to her like that. No one walked away from her. You know, most people would just say thank you, she called out. Kendrick stopped but didn't turn around. Most people who offer rides are decent folk on my route. Not CEOs who show up twice in a week to a daycare they got no business at. What's that supposed to mean? Now he turned. It means I don't know what game you're playing, but my son isn't a prop for your conscience. That's not... Good night, Ms. Whitfield. He continued to the bus stop, Jalen mumbling sleepily against his shoulder. Sloane watched them board the bus, watched it pull away, watched until the taillights disappeared. Her face burned. Embarrassment, anger, something else she couldn't name. Back in her car, she sat motionless. Kendrick Lawson had done what no board member, no investor, no competitor had ever done. He'd looked at Sloane Whitfield and found her wanting. Not her company, not her money, her. And instead of feeling insulted, instead of writing him off as ungrateful, she wanted to know why. What did he see that everyone else missed? The question followed her home, into her dreams, and was still there when she woke. For 3 days, Sloane couldn't shake it. She sat in meetings, but her mind kept replaying Kendrick's words. People like you don't do things without wanting something. Was that true? Had she ever done anything without calculating the return? The charity galas, tax deductions, the mentorship programs, good press. Even visiting her mother was transactional, maintaining peace to protect her board position. Her phone buzzed. Meredith Ashby. Drinks tonight? The usual place? Sloane typed back. Fine. At the club, Meredith was already 2 martinis deep, gossiping about a colleague's divorce. So I told her, that's what prenups are for. Honestly, marrying down like that, what did she expect? Sloane swirled her drink. What do you mean, marrying down? Meredith laughed. Please, he was a teacher. A teacher. Some people just don't understand how the world works. Maybe they loved each other. Meredith's perfectly sculpted eyebrow arched. Love doesn't pay for private school. Love doesn't secure your position. What's gotten into you? Nothing. Just tired. But she couldn't let it go. Do you ever think we're missing something? Missing what? We have everything. Do we? Sloane thought. Later, at home, she found herself Googling Kendrick Lawson. Not much came up. No social media presence, no headlines, just a mention in a local paper from 2 years ago. Community volunteers rebuild playground after storm. There was a photo. Kendrick with a hammer, grinning, surrounded by children. The caption identified him as the volunteer coordinator. He'd organized the whole thing, found materials, recruited help, built something for kids who had nothing, kids who weren't even his. Sloane stared at the photo for a long time. Her phone rang. Mother. Preston said you're not returning his calls. Because I have nothing to say to him. Sloane, I don't understand you. He's perfect. Same background, same values. Maybe that's the problem. Silence. Then Victoria's voice, ice cold. I hope you're not having some sort of crisis. We have the investor dinner next month. I need you presentable. Presentable. A product? A brand? Sloane hung up. She looked around her penthouse. The designer furniture, the art that cost more than most houses, the view that everyone envied, empty, all of it. She thought about Kendrick's apartment, wherever it was. Probably small, probably worn, but when he walked through that door, A little boy ran into his arms like he was the whole world. What would that feel like? Sloane didn't know. She wasn't sure she'd ever known. For the first time in her adult life, she questioned everything she'd built, and she had no idea what to do with that. Hello, the Shade of Love family. So happy you're here. Before we jump into the next part of the story, tell us, where are you watching from? Drop your country and state in the comments. Also, how's the story been so far? We love reading your thoughts. Yes, every single comment. And it really keeps us motivated. Let's aim for 50 comments on this video. Think we can hit it? Your support means the world, so don't forget to comment, share, and keep the energy flowing. The next Saturday, Sloane drove to Kirkwood again. She told herself she wanted to see the neighborhood, understand the community her company was investing in. But when she parked near a small church and saw a crowd gathering outside, she knew she'd been hoping for exactly this. Kendrick was there. He stood near a folding table, organizing food boxes, directing volunteers. Jalen played with other children nearby, supervised by older women who clearly knew the family. You lost, or you stalking me now? Sloane jumped. Cornell Hayes, a stocky man with kind eyes, stood beside her truck. You're that CEO lady from the daycare pictures. He grinned. Kendrick mentioned you. He did. Said some rich woman keeps showing up looking confused. Cornell laughed. I'm Cornell, Kendrick's best friend. You gonna stand there or you gonna help? Before she could answer, he handed her a box and pointed toward the distribution line. For the next 2 hours, Sloane handed out food. She watched Kendrick work. Patient, tireless, knowing everyone by name, he helped an elderly woman carry bags to her car. He fixed a child's broken toy with supplies from his pocket. He listened to a young mother cry about losing her job, then quietly slipped her an envelope. What was that? Sloane asked Cornell. What? The envelope. Cornell's expression softened. Kendrick works 60 hours a week and still puts money aside for folks in trouble. Last month it was a woman about to get evicted. Month before, a kid who needed glasses. But he doesn't have much? No, he doesn't. That's what makes it matter. Sloane's throat tightened. At the end of the distribution, Kendrick finally approached her. Jalen was asleep in a wagon nearby. You stayed, he said. I stayed. Why? She didn't have an answer. Not one that made sense. Kendrick studied her for a long moment. Then, you ever done anything like this before? And I don't mean writing checks. No, she admitted. Could tell. You held those boxes like they might bite you. A hint of a smile. But you stayed. You said that already. Because it surprised me. He grabbed his wagon handle. People like you usually take pictures and leave. Maybe I'm not who you think I am. Maybe. He started walking. Or maybe you're just now figuring out who that is. He didn't say goodbye. Just walked toward his truck, old, dented but clean, and loaded his sleeping son carefully inside. Sloane watched him drive away. Pastor Ray Simmons appeared beside her. That young man has been through more than most people could survive. Lost his wife 4 years ago. Raising that boy alone ever since. Never complains. Never stops giving. Sloane's heart cracked open, just a little. How does he do it? Pastor Ray smiled. He decided a long time ago that pain wasn't going to make him bitter. It was going to make him better. He patted her shoulder. Some people take a lifetime to learn that. Some never do. Sloane drove home in silence and cried for the first time in years. Monday's board meeting felt different. Sloane sat at the head of the table, watching mouths move, hearing nothing. The quarterly projections exceed expectations. Market share increased by strategic acquisition targets include empty. All of it. After the meeting, Meredith cornered her in the hallway. You missed brunch. And you've been distant all week. What's happening with you? I went to a food distribution in Kirkwood on Saturday. Meredith blinked. A what? A community food bank. I helped hand out groceries. The silence stretched. Then Meredith laughed. Please tell me this is for some PR campaign. It's not. Sloane. Meredith's voice dropped. What are you doing in that neighborhood? Those areas aren't safe for what? For me. Because of my money. Or because of who lives there. Don't be naive. You know what I mean. Actually, I'm starting to realize I don't. That evening, Victoria called. Meredith tells me you've been spending time in undesirable neighborhoods. With questionable people. They're called human beings, Mother. Don't be clever with me. You have a reputation to maintain, a company to run. You cannot be seen doing whatever this is. Charity work? Don't twist my words. There are appropriate ways to help people. Galas, foundations, not getting your hands dirty in places like that. Places like that. People like them. Sloane saw it now. The language of exclusion dressed up as concern. Kendrick Lawson works harder in a week than most people in our circle work in a year. He's raising a son alone, volunteers constantly, and somehow still finds time to help anyone who needs it. Kendrick, who is... Victoria's voice went sharp. Tell me you're not getting involved with some construction worker. Would that be so terrible? Have you lost your mind? Think about what this would do to our name, to the company, to everything we've built. Maybe what we've built isn't worth protecting. She hung up to Victoria's sputtering outrage. Her phone exploded. Texts from Meredith, from Preston, from cousins she hadn't spoken to in years. Word traveled fast in their world. Preston's message. Sloane, I don't know what's happening, but this isn't you. Let's talk. I can help. Help. He meant contain, control, return her to the person she'd been. Sloane turned off her phone. That night she drove past Kendrick's neighborhood. She didn't stop. Wasn't even sure which building was his. But seeing the lit windows, the people on porches, the life in what her mother called undesirable, it felt more real than anything on her side of the city. She thought about everything she'd been taught. Protect your own. Stay in your lane. People are different for a reason. But Kendrick wasn't different. He was just human, kind, struggling, strong, and she wanted to know him. Really know him. For the first time, Sloane Whitfield was choosing something her family would never approve of, and it felt like freedom. She found Kendrick at the church playground on Wednesday evening. Jalen was on the swings while Kendrick pushed, the rhythm steady and peaceful. You again, he said without turning around. Me again? Starting to think you don't have any other hobbies? Sloane almost smiled. I wanted to apologize. For that first night. You were right. I was there for the wrong reasons. Kendrick slowed the swing, whispered something to Jalen, and the boy ran off toward the slide. Then he turned to face her. Sit. They sat on a bench, watching Jalen play. Ask your questions, Kendrick said. What? You've got questions. I can see them stacking up behind your eyes. Go ahead. Sloane took a breath. How do you do it? All of it. The work, the volunteering, raising Jalen alone. How do you keep going? Kendrick was quiet for a moment. You ever hear the story about the two wolves? She shook her head. There's a wolf of anger inside you and a wolf of love. They fight every day. Which one wins? He looked at her. Whichever one you feed. That simple. That hard. He watched Jalen go down the slide. When Renee died, I had a choice. Let the anger eat me alive, or pour everything into that little boy. Some days I still feel the anger, but I don't feed it. I don't know if I could do that. You could, if you had to. He leaned back. What I want to know is why you're here. Really? Sloane watched a bird hop across the grass. Because you looked at me like I was nothing. And you were right. I didn't say you were nothing. You didn't have to. You saw through me. Everyone else sees the name, the money, the power. You saw... She struggled for words. Someone who forgot how to be real? The accuracy hurt. Yes. Kendrick nodded slowly. You know what I noticed that first day at the daycare? You smiled at those kids like they were props. Then you walked past me like I was furniture. He held up a hand when she tried to apologize. I'm not saying this to hurt you. I'm saying it because you asked, and because I think you're trying to change. I don't even know where to start. You already started. You showed up Saturday. You worked. You stayed even when it was uncomfortable. It was one day. Change is just a bunch of one days strung together. Jalen came running over. Daddy, can we get ice cream? Kendrick smiled. That same transformative smile Sloane had noticed the first day. We'll see, little man. Say hello to Ms. Sloane. Hello, Ms. Sloane? Jalen's grin was missing a front tooth. Do you want ice cream too? Sloane looked at Kendrick, uncertain. He shrugged. You heard the man. Ice cream's serious business. For the first time in weeks, Sloane laughed, and it felt like something cracking open inside her. The investor dinner was the social event of the season. Crystal chandeliers, 5-course meals, people worth billions gathered in one ballroom. Sloane wore her armor, a designer gown, diamonds at her throat, smile perfectly calibrated. But inside, Something was different. She'd spent the past week with Kendrick and Jalen, dinners at their small apartment, homework help, stories about Renee, about struggle, about hope. She'd started seeing Atlanta differently, the inequality she'd never noticed, the systems designed to keep people like Kendrick down. And now, standing in this room full of people just like her, she felt suffocated. Preston appeared at her elbow. "You look beautiful. Thank you. Your mother tells me you've been going through something. I want you to know I'm here for you." The words were right, but his eyes were calculating. How can I use this? How can I get her back in line? "I appreciate that." She mentioned some man. "In Kirkwood." He lowered his voice. "Sloane, I'm not judging, but you have to be careful. People talk, and someone like that could be taking advantage." "Someone like what? You know what I mean? Different backgrounds? Different worlds? Different skin color?" Preston flinched. "I didn't say that. You didn't have to." She walked away, heart pounding. The speeches started. CEOs congratulating themselves on record profits, pledges to shareholders, empty words about community investment that meant tax write-offs and photo ops. Then something caught her eye. On the screen, a promotional video began. Whitfield Industries' charitable initiatives. And there, footage from the daycare. Sloane with children she hadn't bothered to learn names for, but in the corner of one frame, barely visible, Kendrick walking away with Jalen. Someone had used that footage, his image, without permission. Something snapped inside her. When it was her turn to speak, Sloane walked to the podium and looked out at the sea of expectant faces. "We tell ourselves we're helping," she began, going off script. "We write checks. We pose for photos. We put community investment in our annual reports." Murmurs rippled through the crowd. But when was the last time any of us actually sat with someone struggling, learned their name, understood their life? Victoria's face was turning purple. "I recently met someone who works 60 hours a week and still volunteers his weekends, who lost his wife and raised his son alone without ever asking for help, who gives money he doesn't have to neighbors in worse situations." Her voice cracked. "And I realized I've never done anything real. Not once." The silence was deafening. "I'm not here to lecture. I'm here to say that I'm done pretending. I'm done treating charity like a brand strategy. If Whitfield Industries wants to actually make a difference, we need to start by being honest about why we never have." She walked off the stage. Victoria intercepted her in the hallway. "What have you done? Do you have any idea?" "I have every idea, Mother, for the first time in my life." She pushed past and walked out into the night. And called Kendrick. Kendrick found her on a bench outside the convention center. She was still in her gown, mascara smeared, shaking slightly. "You sounded upset on the phone. What happened?" She told him everything. The speech, her mother, the looks of horror from people she'd known her whole life. Kendrick listened without interrupting. When she finished, he said, "How do you feel?" She laughed wetly. "Terrified, relieved, like I just jumped off a cliff and I don't know if there's water below." "There's water. How do you know?" "Because you're still here, still breathing, still choosing." He sat beside her. "That took guts, Sloane. More than most people ever find. They're going to come after me. The board, my mother. They'll say I had a breakdown." "Did you?" "No." She wiped her eyes. "I think I finally woke up." Kendrick was quiet for a moment. Then, "When Renee died, everyone had opinions. I was grieving wrong, parenting wrong, living wrong. Know what I learned?" "What?" "The people who love you show up. The rest just make noise." Sloane looked at him. This man who had every reason to be bitter, every reason to turn away from a woman like her. "Why do you keep showing up? For me?" "Because I see who you're becoming. And she's worth knowing." Something shifted between them. Not romance, not yet. Something deeper. Recognition. "What do I do now?" she asked. "What do you want to do?" "I want to actually help. Not for PR, not for optics. Really help." Kendrick nodded. "Then start tomorrow. Show up at the church. Not for one day, for real. Learn people's names. Hear their stories. Get uncomfortable. And if I mess up, you will. That's how you know you're trying." She took a shaky breath. "I don't know how to be this person. The one who doesn't have all the answers. Nobody has all the answers." He stood, offered his hand. "But you don't have to figure it out alone." She took his hand and stood. "Your family's going to make your life hard," he warned. "Probably. Worth it?" She looked at him. Calloused hands, worn clothes, more strength and integrity than anyone she'd ever known in her world. Ask me in a year. He almost smiled. I'll hold you to that. They walked to their cars in comfortable silence. Hey, Kendrick? Yeah? Thank you. For not giving up on me. Thank Jalen. He's the one who asked if you'd come for ice cream again? This time she laughed for real. And for the first time in her life, Sloane Whitfield wasn't performing, wasn't strategizing, wasn't protecting her image. She was just herself. Hello, the Shade of Love family. So happy you're here. Before we jump into the next part of the story, tell us, where are you watching from? Drop your country and state in the comments. Also, how's the story been so far? We love reading your thoughts. Yes, every single comment. And it really keeps us motivated. Let's aim for 50 comments on this video. Think we can hit it? Your support means the world, so don't forget to comment, share, and keep the energy flowing. The emergency board meeting was called for Monday morning. Sloane walked into the conference room knowing exactly what awaited. Victoria sat at the far end, flanked by Meredith and 3 senior board members. Preston lurked near the window. Sloane, Victoria began, her voice dangerous. We need to discuss your episode. It wasn't an episode. It was a statement. A statement that has cost us 2 major investors. The phone hasn't stopped ringing. Meredith leaned forward. We're concerned about you. This behavior isn't rational. Telling the truth isn't rational. This obsession with that neighborhood, that man, it's not healthy. Sloane looked around the table, at faces she'd known her entire life, people who'd attended her graduation, her promotions, her carefully curated successes. None of them knew her at all. I'm not resigning, she said calmly, but I am changing how we do business. Real community investment, actual partnerships with local organizations, hiring from underserved areas. Absolutely not. Victoria stood. This company was built on certain values. What values, Mother? Protecting our image? Keeping our world small and safe and segregated? How dare you? I've spent my whole life being who you wanted me to be. Perfect, polished, appropriate. Sloane's voice strengthened. I'm done. Preston stepped forward. Sloane, think about what you're throwing away. I'm not throwing anything away. I'm finally finding something worth keeping. Meredith made one last attempt. And what about him? Kendrick? What do you think happens when this fairy tale ends? He's not one of us. You're right. He's better. The silence was absolute. Sloane gathered her things. You can accept my proposals and evolve, or you can fight me. But I'm not changing course. She walked out. In the elevator, her hands shook. She'd just challenged everything. Her mother, her position, her entire world. But she thought about Kendrick and Jalen, about Pastor Ray, about Cornell and Tamika and all the people who built community with nothing but their hands and hearts. They were worth fighting for. She was worth fighting for. The doors opened to the lobby. Greta waited, looking uncertain. Ms. Whitfield, what would you like me to do? Sloane took a breath. Call Tamika Vance at the daycare. Set up a meeting. A real one, not for photos. She paused. And Greta? Thank you. For everything. Greta smiled. The first genuine smile Sloane had seen from her. It's about time, ma'am. Maybe change was possible. One person at a time. Starting with herself. 3 months later. Rain hammered Atlanta, turning streets to rivers and sending everyone running for cover. Sloane stood outside. The community center. Watching the downpour. The grand opening had been a success. A new partnership between Whitfield Industries and 5 local organizations, bringing job training, childcare support, and small business loans to Kirkwood and surrounding neighborhoods. She'd fought for every dollar, lost some board members, gained others. Victoria hadn't spoken to her in weeks. Worth it. Kendrick found her on the covered porch. Big day, he said. Yeah, you did good, Sloane. We did good. He nodded, watching the rain. Jalen was inside, playing with other children, full of cake and happiness. Can I tell you something? Sloane asked. Always. That night at the investor dinner, when I walked out, I didn't know what would happen. I just knew I couldn't pretend anymore. She turned to face him. You did that. You showed me what real looked like. Nah. Kendrick shook his head. That was always in you. I just asked the right questions. Thunder rolled in the distance. Kendrick, He held up a hand. Before you say whatever you're about to say, I need you to know something. What? This thing between us. Whatever it is, whatever it becomes, it can't be about you saving me or me fixing you. It has to be about two people choosing each other. Equal. Real. I know. Do you? She stepped closer. I'm not the woman I was 3 months ago. I'm not perfect. I'll mess up. Say the wrong thing. Have to unlearn things I didn't know I'd learned. She took his hand. But I've never wanted anything the way I want this. Want you. Kendrick looked at their joined hands. Her manicured fingers. His calloused palm. Different worlds. Same heart. Jalen asked me something last week, he said. What? He asked if you were going to be around. For good. Sloane's breath caught. What did you tell him? I told him I hoped so. The rain intensified, creating a curtain of water around the porch, sealing them in their own small world. I'm not going anywhere, she whispered. Kendrick smiled, that rare, full smile that transformed his face. Then I guess I better take you to meet my mama. She's been asking. Sloane laughed. I'd like that. He pulled her closer as lightning flashed overhead. Scared? He asked. Terrified. Me too. Worth it? He kissed her forehead gently. Ask me in a year. She laughed again, and the sound mixed with the rain, with the thunder, with the music drifting from inside where their community celebrated. Sloane Whitfield had chased something real, and against all odds, she'd found it. Not in the penthouses or boardrooms or country clubs of her old life, but here, in the rain, with a man who'd taught her that the best things in life aren't things at all. They're people, their choices, their love.